everyone. Welcome back to It Depends, I Guess podcast. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Caroline.
And at the back we have...
DJ.
Yes. Welcome back to season 2.
Season 2.
Yes.
Episode 1.
1. Air horns, blow touches, DJ sounds, etc. Thank you so much for coming back. It's a new season in life too.
A new season in life. We have new looks, actually.
Oh, yeah.
If you're watching this on YouTube,
yes,
we do have swag. We have merchandise now.
I know. Imagine. We're growing.
We're growing.
We are crawling.
We have merch.
Yes. Good news. I have come back with all my limbs
intact.
Intact. We are walking.
Oh, yes.
We're walking a lot.
Yeah.
Hopefully, all good. Touch wood.
It shall be good. It shall be good for sure. Yeah.
Let's start with, it was summer break.
Yes, we took a month and a half, I guess, for our summer break.
A month and a half?
Yes, I think it was. Our last episode was in May.
Okay. Oh my God, it's been a month and a half. Okay.
Yes,
all right.
yes,
okay.
Yes, it has been. Yeah. A month and a half. What have we been up to?
Yes.
We designed the match.
Yes.
So right now I'm wearing a t-shirt written "Is it?"
Explain this really cool.
Yes. So the concept of the merchandise and specifically the t-shirts is that we want to have emojis. They're called cow emoji, like they're from the Japanese way of expressing themselves. So they have like characters as well as in they just have, you can create an emoji from anything that you type on your keyboard.
Okay.
So this one has eyes wide open. And is something I love to say a lot in this podcast. So I was like, is it would be nice to have on a t-shirt.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. This is my daily existence.
Potitis.
It reminds me, I woke up with 2 wounds. And it's okay. It's all right. Who knows? And then this is an old man with a stick.
With a stick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Aging is beautiful.
Potitis. Aging gracefully.
Aging gracefully.
Yes.
One day we should have an episode to discuss first of all, my Instagram feed or whatever is all about what supplements I should take for your bones, for your joints, for sleeping, I'm like, damn.
For hormones balancing.
Hey. And I keep remembering the day we had met for dinner with friends.
Yeah.
And then the first 10 minutes was just exchanging tips about, I've been taking potassium. No, I tried magnesium.
Yes.
And I was like, you guys, we are old.
Yes.
How is it that the first 10 minutes you're catching up on the things that just make you sleep?
Yes.
Damn. All
Potitis.
Right. Yes.
Catching up.
Yes.
Yeah.
High, did you take it?
Yeah. So I said when we were away, we worked on our match. And if you would like some t-shirts, we're going to put some up on our Instagram and you can DM us. We can work around how to actually have a match shop. Match shop.
Yeah, shop. Yeah. Did you do it twice?
No, the second one was me repeating because I can't understand how I say that. Match shop. Yeah.
I'm influencing you from my lower side. It's good to see.
Feast.
Feast.
I'm eating feast. Yeah. So so we worked on that and then had a beautiful summer break. Although we don't have like quite the summer we expected.
It's raining as we speak.
It's raining every day, but we choose not to complain.
Yes.
I visited my friend in the US, spent time with the family, and we went on a beautiful festival in Germany, a reggae festival called Summer Jam.
Good. Yes.
Yes. 3 days of just vibes. So it's been a beautiful summer. And that's what I've been up to.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
DJ at the back.
I haven't done a damn thing.
You rested, did you?
Yes, I rested. I rested a lot.
Yes.
Just made money,
Yeah. Yes.
We like
that's
money.
It. I spend most of the time working.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind it. She's mostly a home girl. She is.
She
Yeah, she
is.
is.
She loves her comfort.
Yeah. She's a
What
home
about
girl.
you, Jackie?
No, it was good. I think one of the highlights I was thinking of from the Summerfest was really good. Was just the amount of Kenyans we ran into.
Yes.
It happens in we say Cologne, but they say Köln. Köln.
In Deutschland,
Yes,
in Germany.
in Germany. And yeah, I know Kenyans are hey, wow.
Hey. Tongue twisters.
Woo. Kenyans love reggae.
Say that again.
Yeah, Kenyans, what did I say? Love reggae.
Kenyans love reggae.
Yes. And I knew this because, growing up, I know a lot of reggae because of,
Yeah.
back home.
Yeah.
But then going there and seeing the amount of Kenyans who show up, and it's just come from Sweden, from whatever. And I remember us walking in the first day to go get our badges.
Yeah.
And we're walking past this group of people, and then they're like, "You guys look Kenyan,"
Yes.
and just start speaking into us in Swahili, and I'm like, "Yeah, we're Kenyans."
Yeah.
And it was there was so many Kenyans. It was so lovely.
Yeah.
Then I didn't clearly. I'm not an avid festival goer.
Yeah.
I know next time flags are something you carry.
Yes.
But when at the performance stages, when you look at the front towards the stage, you just see Kenyan flags waving. You'd think they're Kenyan performers.
Yeah,
There
you
were
would
none.
actually.
There
You
were
would
no-
actually.
There were no performers.
At some point, I was like, we are overdoing this. Because Uko Koli Buds is Uko like singing his songs.
Yeah.
But the whole front
The
is
whole
Kenyan
front is just
flags.
Kenyan flags just waving. And those people are waving continuously for like 3
don't
I'm
get
like,
tired.
whoa, that is a job and a half.
And these are flags that you raise with a pole.
Yeah,
so
the
they're
ones with
high
the pole,
up.
the big
Yeah,
ones, not
yeah.
the small
Not the
flags.
small ones, the big ones.
Yeah. So that was really cool. It was really cool the amount of shout outs Kenya was getting from a lot of the Jamaican artists.
Yes.
I remember at some point when Conscience was performing,
Yeah.
he just kept saying like, I'm thinking about Kenyans and
Yeah.
what you're going through is like, people don't need to die to get
Yeah.
what they, to get, change or to just express their disgruntlement or whatever it is. So at some point he was like, give me a flag. So he took the Kenyan flag and was waving it on stage.
Yes.
It was just good energy, and it was interesting to meet other Kenyans, and we're all kind of in the same kind of thought about what's going on back home and trying to figure out how to support. But as we segue this episode, hopefully the title, you've seen in the title,
Yes.
we're going to discuss politics. And what's going on back home. From the two Kenyans and the Zimbabwean,
Who represents the rest of Africa?
yes, who apparently really like our president.
No, Ruto.
And as I've said, you can have him. I mean, it's not that we are.
It's just that I can't make fun of it because there are actual lives that are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to come up and say that, listen, regardless, Ruto, he stood for something, but obviously don't know him as well as you guys. So I hope this will be enlightening for me and others,
Yeah.
Yes.
Africans.
Yeah. Yes. So I think I'm going to try and throw back to one of the episodes where we talked about maybe one of the things we discussed in the beginning was the highlights of how elections had been going in West Africa, right? And how the Senegalese president was one of the youngest presidents voted in, and what led to even him being voted in. He was in prison.
Yeah.
He was only released 9 days before the election, and landslide won. And I think one thing we had said is this is a sign of what's going to come.
Yeah.
Right? Africa has a huge youth population, and it's growing.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the things we had said we hope to see is that this reflects also in how we vote and the leadership that comes in and that kind of thing. If you've not heard what's happening in Kenya is there was a controversial bill,
Yes.
finance bill that was being passed in Parliament. And the suggestions, the proposals put forward in that bill were going to heavily, heavily impact people's lives, right? Also are not very favorable to certain sectors. Some of their reasoning was, yes, the reason we are boosting taxes on certain imported goods is so that, local manufacturing can thrive.
Yeah.
But then I'll give an example of sanitary towels. There's only one local brand making sanitary towels.
Yeah.
Most of the sanitary towels that are used come from outside, are imported.
Yeah.
So it doesn't translate if there's certain products that are heavily used and are important for people's lives, that your excuse, there has to be thought process behind how things are done, right? And the excuse given was that, yes, there's a huge budget and we have to meet that budget, and hence these are the measures that have to be taken with input from IMF.
First of all, to pay the loans.
Yes. And it was also requirements of things they had to put in to get more money, because they were still borrowing from the IMF. So when this happened, there was a lot of disgruntlement online, and this poured out into actual physical protests in Nairobi and other cities. Now, ideally, protesting is a right.
Yes, it is.
It's
a constitutional right.
It is a constitutional right.
Yes.
If you're on the streets peacefully,
yeah,
police can be present, but they should be present to either protect the protesters, or if there's anything where people are robbing or whatever, nefarious activity, sure. But if people are there peacefully, just putting forward their disgruntlement, it is their right. Now, the first protest went okay.
Yeah.
And it was really good to see, because I'm an higher end of the millennials, and in our time and the previous times before, we had a dictator president way back. Not that way back, it was in my lifetime too. And there was the freedom that we have right now is not something that we had back then, right? So definitely we appreciate that. Even I, from watching and seeing, was really good to see people go out there and express their disgruntlement and being like, you know what, we can't keep going like this, right?
Yeah.
It's impacting young people, and the young people are saying this is our future. If we are the ones who are unemployed and going through all these things, and you want to add more taxes and make life more difficult, what kind of future are we going into, right? Yeah. And so really excited to see that people are able to go out and protest, etc. The second protest went not so well.
The first protest, actually, just remembered, there was one casualty.
Oh, yeah. There was one casualty. Yes, I think it was called Rex.
Yes.
Was that the first casualty? Yeah. Yes.
And casualty by this means they were shot by police.
Yes. The second protest was terrible.
Yeah.
Because now the military was brought in, and police were using live ammunition towards young people, towards kids.
Yeah.
Right. Which was, I've come through a period where I've buried friends because of politics and protesting and nefarious activities by politicians. So it was just sad to see that. I know our freedom fighters, many people died. We won't know their names. Some will know their names. Who died for our freedom as a country.
Yeah.
Even when we had our freedom as a country, we were trying to work towards becoming a true democracy. The people who fought, people who went to exile, people who were killed, people who were detained and tortured. In our parents' age, Gen Xers came in. We know people who are, which actually maybe I should ask my brother to give a story. My brother was protesting as a university student, was shot by a rubber bullet at the back of his head. So there was a lot of protests then, and even then, if people are killed, you don't know what happens. It disappears. Their bodies just show up somewhere.
Is this the time for when we were trying to move from one party to a democratic country?
Yes. When we're trying to go to a one-party system, so trying to move into a multi-party democracy. So people lost lives, things. And so I was truly hoping that we are now in a time where, yes, the older people, we've gone through all these things. Ideally, so the young people can be able to go and express their disgruntlement and be safe. Right? We have gone through, we've changed, and we have a new constitution. We are working towards being a democratic country, but to still have leaders who think it is right to send police to shoot live ammunition towards people who are just saying, hey, mind you, these people who are on the street are also fighting for the police's rights. We know the
that's
police are one of the worst paid in our in our country.
Yeah.
They live in horrible conditions.
Yeah.
So they're there also fighting for the police.
Yeah.
And the same police are opening fire on people. Like, it was insane.
The what caught my eye and what made me think that this has gone out of hand is the fact that they had snipers on top of buildings, targeting people on the streets, to like taking people out one by one on the street. That made me feel we've gone beyond what you would think a country can do to its citizens.
Yes.
Yes.
In this day and age. Right.
And there are no repercussions to these people.
None.
Because there were photos of actually the people who were the snipers.
Even a policeman, there's reporters who are, somebody was being arrested, and he just shoots and goes into the car. Mm-hmm. Has he been arrested?
Nope.
No, nothing.
He has his face all over. It's quite sad.
It is quite sad. It like that has really like tormented me, because I was just like, man, our people before us, people didn't go through all this for us to be here, and for you to just treat our young people that way is mad. And so I mentioned the finance bill for this 2024. Let me give a few highlights. So a big part of it is tax reforms. So that influences things like VAT. There's going to be an increase in VAT for essential goods, things like bread, things that touch on everyday life and is already. We have something called a sachet economy. So in areas, sometimes people don't have what they make in the day is what they can afford to use to buy food. So if they can't afford to buy a full loaf of bread, there's shops that will take a full loaf of bread and make small, like 2 slices, etc. Or milk in like smaller packets. So we call that a sachet economy. So all these things trickle down to like, and the have-nots really don't have. It's really bad. Right? So it's like truly oppressing even further. There's also excise duty that's going to increase on products that are coming in. This includes some essential products. There's a bunch of things around digital transformation, debt management, etc.
And also medication for cancer patients.
Yes. Now, interestingly, last year, 2023, there was the Finance Act of 2023.
Yes.
That had similar measures.
And maybe this is probably a question for myself, for me and you. I was trying to decipher between those two. What's the difference between a Finance Act and a finance bill?
Honestly, at this point, I think it's just branding. Because that Finance Act, which was still a finance bill. Last year there was also a lot of protests. Right? So protesting in Swahili is called Maandamano. So there was Maandamano Tuesday, Maandamano Thursday, right? And interestingly, and I think last year, this is something I questioned a lot, even amongst a few friends. And the lack of getting a sense of where people are at, right? So the protests last year were led by the opposition leader, Raila, very famous, popular man, right? But there was the Gen Z millennials were not involved. There was like, it's those guys who are protesting and complaining.
It almost felt like, it's another political protest.
Yes.
But they were protesting about that Finance Act.
Which, like for example, taxes on fuel went up from 8 to 16%. Because there was a huge increase in cost of fuel, like shot up. Cost of cooking oil. Cooking gas, a bunch of things like that were influenced because of VAT went up, right? There was things on taxes for small businesses. We know a lot of small businesses that closed because of some of the new taxes that were brought in. The famous housing levy was brought in.
It was brought in last year.
Yes, which was also impacting employees because then you're further deducted to contribute to this housing levy, right? So, and I remember last year thinking to myself, 2 things can be true at the same time. the opposition and the people who are protesting are truly protesting the fact that, hey, this thing is being brought in and is going to have this impact on people, right? Now, for a long time, politicians have had like their, I don't want to call them a fan base, but they have like their strong supporters, right? Who are in the streets, etc., being like, hey.
Yeah.
But you see, the irony is, even last time, and I followed the protest last time very closely because I have family members who were going for those protests.
Yeah.
And it was, again, people who were in certain areas, it was peaceful, but the way they were being sprayed with tear gas, etc., it was, people would scatter all the time.
Yeah.
But then there was like a disjointed, how do I say it? There wasn't education around what actually is happening.
Yes.
And in the format that now the younger folks get.
Yes.
This was not being put in more granular and palatable information, people who are online, right? On TikTok, on X, on IG, whatever, right? So I know people who are complaining about, these protests are causing traffic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't say that because they're in the streets fighting against a bill that's going to affect your cost of living, right?
Yeah.
Taxes, like fuel is going to go up for you.
Yeah.
And our country.
Yeah.
If fuel goes up,
everything goes up.
Even doing your nails cost goes up.
Yeah.
Because fuel touches everything, right?
Everything is tied.
So everything is tied to it. So I'm just like, you can't say that. But then, and I remember talking to a friend and saying, the interesting thing about this is I believe in what they're fighting for. I agree with it. The who is what I don't agree with.
So I was, let me now come clean. Last year, I did not understand what we are fighting for. And again, there was no education around. We knew something was happening in Parliament. We knew there's changes coming in taxes. We knew there is new introduction of taxes coming. But also there was the civic education that existed or was put in place was closely tied with politicians. And the moment I had a political party is involved with some mandamano, like protest, my brain just zones out.
Yeah.
And to me, it became, just another political movement.
And that's many people.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That was many people.
Yeah.
And I remember even telling my brother, I fully agree with what is happening, the protesting, I agree. The who, and I'm like, my fear is people are not bothered because of who the messenger is.
Yes, that's
They
true.
don't care
That's
about
true.
the message. They're like, we know that messenger.
Yeah.
And also something that I've seen different, our generation going above were also very tribal.
Yeah.
Right? So if a certain leader, you're like, no, we know that person.
What they're representing.
What they're representing.
Yeah.
But also me, who's of a tribe similar to that person, I don't agree with his politics, right? So it's also one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. I don't like seeing politicians using an engine that is truly people's lives are going to be impacted in a bad way. But I don't want you to use this as an opportunity to also come in with your politics. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I also didn't agree with that. And I'm like, I can see why people are not
bothered
tuned in,
because
the messenger is the problem. Right?
Yeah.
And even how things were going about was not right. But then what other
happened?
ways?
What happened this year that did he step away?
Last year's, actually, they pushed it to the point where they took it to court.
Yes.
So the Finance Act took a long time to go. I think it only went through in July. And only parts of it went through because they did end up taking the situation to court. Being like, is this process constitutional?
Yeah.
Right? So, but eventually it still went and passed.
Yeah,
right?
most of it, I think what I was reading is by September, most of it had been implemented.
Most of it was implemented.
Yes.
Now, what's been different this time is, and this is unfortunate, he's been basically opposition for many, many years. And personally, my opinion here, he's much older now, much more kind of laid back, right? Maybe focused more on being part of the AU or whatever it is. I think what is different is I think a lot of the bubbling under probably was pushed more by civil society.
Yeah.
And whereby I like the approach that was done this time because it was, hey, there's this finance bill that's coming in, 2,000 pages or whatever, legal jargon. but they pulled out and said, these are the things that are coming in a way that you know, oh, damn. Our sanitary pads are getting what? What do you mean?
It no longer became a blanket, oh, there's a finance bill. It became of, oh, look,
this is what is happening.
Yes,
much more granular.
Yeah.
Now, also, it's also come in a time where there is just, sometimes when it's like a pressure system that's been building up, right? Yes. And you know the times you walk outside, you're like, oh my God, it's going to rain, a good one. It's just that pressure system that was building as well. Because what has been interesting to observe in the last few years, maybe in the last year or two, has been, for example, members of parliament, who these folks are basically influencers. They are doing a day in the life, showing their helicopter that they just bought, their 6 Range Rovers. I'm like, and I used to always see these things, and I'm like, how is that even right?
Get ready with me.
Get ready with me. In the club, doing like with selfies, like they were like and going into a liquor shop and saying, no, what's the most expensive whiskey? $10,000, give me that whiskey. Members of parliament, in a time when people are just, life is hard and life is lifing.
Yeah.
But these guys are living on TikTok, on IG, I saw Governor of Nairobi at some point was on TikTok being like, people are always asking me, are my dimples real? Or I'm just like, nigga, oh my God. They are like just the strangest things happening online.
Maybe he's trying to capture a demographic that's into dimples and...
He knows his strong points.
He knows his strong points.
Yeah.
So policy-wise, he doesn't have much to offer. But
he's got
these dimples
are dimpling.
But can we say, okay, you see how I see it? Back in the days, do you know what Moi used to do? He used to do the influencing as well. But he would go in the village and give out money to folks, Kids will go and sing and they will get, I don't know, there will be money spread out, and they will come in the news. It's the same sort of influencing.
But this is where my shock and horror, I am truly surprised. He was a dictator.
In New Age.
We were in a different time.
Yes.
Now we're not in that time period anymore.
Yeah.
So to just I think it's the audacity, right?
Yeah.
These politicians were just living life like, oh, you're in traffic. I can't do traffic. So me and my 3 escort cars are going to come with sirens on to move cars out of the road to go to work. Because the rest of us are here on the road. What are we doing on the road?
Yeah.
And why are we on traffic? Because of poor planning. Who's the leader responsible for planning?
You.
Yeah. So it's just been insane to see what is happening.
I have a feeling there's a big detachment from whatever is happening every day with our politicians, our Kenyan politicians. Everyday happenings and me are completely separate. And this is how politicians have lived, actually.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think over a period of time, what they've not understood is, hey, this population is getting younger and younger. Your regular folks who you can do all matter of nonsense, then 2 weeks to elections, you come and give bags of maize. That population is going. It's not here.
Yeah. They've actually moved back to shags or they've edged out. Yeah.
They've edged out.
Yeah.
So there's just a lack of understanding of to me, it just feels like they just don't give a damn. And they're just used to being like, stealing in it's pure impunity, right? And so it's fascinating to me. So I think, how do we end up here? I think what has been different, yes. The difference here has been how the message was permeated online to folks being like, let's just go to the street. Because what is this?
Yeah.
What is this?
You're living large online and we are online and we can see what's actually happening.
Yes. And we know we are hustling here trying to influence. We know the money we are not making the money you guys are making.
Yeah.
Right? So, and it truly boggled the mind of current politicians because remember when the protest started, the president kept saying, I need to talk to the leader of this movement.
Yes.
And folks are like, there's no leader. We are just tired. We are collectively tired.
Even when he had the conference, he also said, if I could talk, you give me somebody to talk to. And then we can have the discussions and they can table your grievances and we'll have that discussion. But still, at the end of the day, it's like people have self-organized.
Yes.
There's nobody leading.
And, truly, maybe again, throwback to the Black Tax episode.
Yeah.
The one thing that we are good at is self-organizing. So,
Yes.
thank
Yes,
God
we are.
the Harambe motto has gone to something helpful. Instead of fundraising for school fees, we are here saying, folks, let's self-organize and figure out how do we express. And despite protesting, Parliament was like, MPs were like,
still went ahead and
voted, majority voted for the bill, which got to the president. And that's why the protests got even more and more to the point that the president had to be like, all right, I won't sign it.
Yeah.
But let me give some history here. Because the big issue the president kept saying is, we have debt. Okay. So which means we are borrowing a lot of money. This is just, we've only had, he's only our fifth president, Jesus. Anyway. So let's throw back to first president, Jomo Kenyatta. Now, after independence, etc., yes, there was external debt.
We got our independence in 1963.
Yes. So there's external debt, estimated at about 2.2 billion. And domestic debt was basically like non-existent. We're a new republic, new country, etc.
So $2 billion US dollars.
Yes, US dollars. Then we had His Excellency Daniel Toroitich
Arap Moi from 1978
to forever, to 2002.
It was 2002. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's many years.
Yeah.
So the debt increased from 2.2 billion to 6.4 billion.
2.2 to 6.
Estimated.
Yeah. So 2 times. Yeah.
Yes, and the split there was 4.4 billion of that was external debt. 2 billion was domestic debt.
So maybe for some of us who might not be too averse or too aware of how domestic debt looks like. Do you know how it looks like?
Domestic debt is like treasury bonds, treasury bills, those infrastructure bonds.
Yes.
So they're instruments where the government says, hey, we want to build X number of roads and all these infrastructure projects. We'd like to borrow, and they borrow from the local internally. So it could be mostly citizens, but also banks, private entities, etc.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of where
internal
domestic debt comes from. Yes.
And the external one is where now they go to the World
Bank, the World Banks.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Then His Excellency Mwai Kibaki came in 2002.
Yeah.
Debt went from 6.4 billion to 20 billion.
20 billion US dollars.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's like still 3 times plus.
Yes.
Multiplied.
Yeah. And the split was approximately half and half. So 10 domestic, 10 external debt.
Yeah.
So about that amount.
No, I'm thinking to myself, like, whenever countries are borrowing, it's better to borrow internally than externally, because internally you just borrow the money, have some interest paid out.
Yes.
To the
because
people.
also ideally the people also benefit.
Yes.
But this is assuming that a lot of that people who are buying into these instruments are citizens.
Yes.
Sometimes it's mostly banks, large institutions.
Which are funded maybe from
so it's not necessarily the local citizenry. Yeah.
What I have a problem with external debts, because external debts come with things tied to it. Like you're told how to structure your government. And I guess this is where we... Yes.
And then if you stay below a certain number, I need to remember how they do it. There's a ratio they do of debt to GDP or something.
Yeah.
And if you're below a certain number, then you're considered like okay, like it's good debt. So like that's considered, or that's fine. Then last president, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. If his last name sounds familiar, he is the son of the first, our founding president.
Yeah.
Yes.
Legendary.
Yes. Now, from when he came in, the debt went from 20 billion to 70 billion.
Wow.
Yes. Still about half and half, external and domestic.
Yeah.
And then William Samoei Ruto, His Excellency, let me add that there, allegedly, has inherited the debt, but
Yeah.
added more debt. With now we're getting more money from China.
Yeah.
Actually, with Uhuru Kenyatta, there was a large amount of money coming in from China as well. Now Ruto has come in, and now there's more than that. Now, sure, I guess people are thinking, why are people mad at Ruto and complaining about Ruto and he's inherited the debt?
Yeah.
Ruto was a deputy president during Uhuru's government.
That's true.
Yes.
So he's been.
So he was part of
Yes, of the borrowing.
the borrowing.
Yes.
Don't tell us these facts as
Yes.
Zimbabweans. We like Ruto.
No.
We
Let
like
me make it clear, because I know
Other-
you've asked
other
before. You're like,
Africans-
but then that was not his debt. Yes, it is. He was part of the government.
My guy, Ruto, what's
Got
up,
it?
man? Hit me on the phone. Let's figure this out.
Yes.
Can I also say that most of us and most Kenyans and even the younger generations, we don't have a problem to hear there's debt and the borrowing and everything. It's when that debt and the money and the borrowing does not translate to
Economic gain.
gain.
It's
for
true.
us.
And there's a reason why,
Yeah.
as much as in Kibaki's time, the debt tripled from
Yeah.
6.4 to 20 billion.
Yeah.
We were actually still, we were below the
GDP.
threshold,
Yeah.
that ratio.
Yeah.
But also because people actually saw things change.
Yes.
They're like, man, we are getting roads.
Yeah.
I'll tell you personally, for the side of country I'm coming from, when we used to go to our rural home, which you do during Christmas, that was a 2 to 3 day journey.
Yeah.
Because if it rains, you'll sleep on the road because it's maram, it's muddy, I can tell you we have electricity, we have proper roads,
Yeah.
all these things. We did not see those things before Kibaki's time.
Yeah.
Because we know the previous president highly developed his village. Highly
Yeah.
developed his village.
Baringo.
Yes. Baringo.
Baringo.
So I think, as you've rightly said, the issue is there's debt. Debt exists. There's good debt.
Yeah.
Developed countries also get money from
Yeah.
the IMF.
Yeah.
Granted, they get at cheaper rates,
Yeah.
even if they're the developed. Then us developing, we're given at,
Because we're bad debtors.
yes, but then they still give you money.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then they tie all these things. You have to do this.
You
and
have to do this.
That, you have
Yes.
to do that. You have
Yes.
to do, yeah.
So now, one of the big things is, and I think I wanted to talk about our political system, because I think we have a very, very, very overinflated government.
So our money is not going to the people. Our money is going to the people who are supposed to be ruling.
Yes.
Because we've
And-
inflated.
Yes. First, the government is inflated.
Yes.
So there's just money for logistics and things. But then also these people are also stealing. Now, if you are few and you are stealing, that's okay. Because at least 80% of the money would still go
Yeah.
towards developing the economy.
You sound like the kind of person who would do the same if you got into power yourself.
No, let me tell you, the truth is, even in developed world,
They call it, is it canvassing? How it has a
there's
name.
things like lobbying.
Yes, lobbying. Yes.
There's no, maybe Switzerland, where things are very rule oriented, etc. But most other countries that are doing well, it's not because there is zero corruption or zero bribery. We see cases of people being arrested or removed because of some scandal of
Yeah.
some bribery charges or some corrupt charges or nepotism or there's some backhanded dealing, whatever. We see this happening in developed. We see it. So it's not that they don't have any issues. They do. Our issues is we have a very rotten system, extremely, because everybody wants to eat. And
Yeah.
everybody wants to eat a lot and right now.
Yeah.
All right. But let me break down our political system. So Kenya is we're a democratic republic, but we have a presidential system. Okay. Now, in general, just how the country runs, in general, we have an executive branch, legislative branch,
Yeah.
judicial branch. We have the county governments. This is
Yeah.
post-devolution. We have an electoral system. So we vote every
vote
5
for-
years,
yeah.
etc., through an independent commission. Then we have political parties, and our system is now multi-party system. And we have the constitution, which is the law that rules the land.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Now let's go into specific offices. So you have the executive branch, the president, he's the
Yeah.
head of state, the head of government, brought in by popular vote every 5 years. This president will appoint the cabinet, which is for the ministries, etc.
Yeah.
But the cabinet he appoints has to be approved by the National Assembly.
Okay.
Okay. Then you have a deputy president who assists the president and can assume the office if the office becomes vacant. This is how His Excellency Arap Moi became president. Kenyatta died while in office. So he took in, and then now elections carried on from there. All right. Then we have the legislative branch. So now this is, they call it a bicameral parliament, which consists of a National Assembly and a Senate.
Okay. The National Assembly is the
members of parliament.
Members of parliament,
Yes.
the MPs.
Yes.
Yes.
So legislative branch has two sub-branches.
Yes.
National Assembly,
Yeah.
Senate.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the National Assembly, which is now members of parliament,
Yeah.
has 349 members.
Because they are representing the constituencies.
Yes.
Yes.
Now constituencies are actually 290.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. So those are the ones we vote for in the election.
Yeah.
Then 47, there's 47 women reps
Yes.
who also become part of the assembly.
Yes.
We also vote for the women rep.
Yeah.
Actually, let me list down what we vote for every election. We vote for 6 seats.
Okay.
So you from down going up.
Yeah.
So member of county assembly or MCA.
Uh-huh.
Then the governor.
Yeah.
Then a woman rep. Then a senator. Member of parliament and president.
The president.
6,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
So now in this National Assembly, you have the MPs, who are 290 constituencies that you vote for. And then you have the women reps,
Yes.
who you voted for, 47. They are part of the National Assembly. Then you have 12 nominated representatives, including special interest groups.
Yeah.
So whether it's representing disability or different things like that. Okay. Now, what is their role? They have the legislative power, right? Budget approval. So legislative power means they're the ones who can change things in the constitution, etc.
Yeah.
They provide oversight of the executive office. So if you do an election and the president doesn't get outright majority, I think after 2 rounds, then the members of parliament elect a president.
Okay.
Then they do the constitutional amendments. Then the ones who can also impeach the president.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have
They can impeach the president.
Yeah.
They can do the vote of no confidence.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Then the Senate has 67 members. 47 elected from the counties. Kenya has 47 counties.
Counties, yeah.
So 47 senators, 16 women nominated by political parties. Then you have 2 members representing the youth and 2 members representing people with disability.
Okay, now I'm a bit confused here. When you talk about senator, who is the governor? I'm sorry, I'm out of
governor,
touch
so
here.
for example, Nairobi County,
Yeah.
the governor is Sakaja.
Yeah.
The senator is Sifuma.
So you have a governor where you have a city, or is it?
No, a governor and senate both represent a county, but the governor runs the county. They're the ones who have the budget to run the county.
Yeah.
The senator is only doing law.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So similar to what the MPs do,
Yeah.
the Senate does it, but only representing their county
Their
of
county.
interest.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know whether we should have a flow chart or something, because
We
this
should
is
figure
so-
that out.
Yeah, this is so. I feel like I'm completely out of touch with what changed in our
is-
constitution in
Yeah.
2010.
Actually,
yeah.
we'll try to find an infographic.
Yeah.
So then now, what is their duties? So they represent counties. They have legislative powers specifically for bills that affect their counties. So MPs are bills that affect the nation. Senators, bills that affect their counties. They provide oversight of the county governments. They approve appointments such as the Chief Justice, the Auditor General.
Yeah.
They can do constitutional amendments in conjunction with the National Assembly, with the MPs. Then they are also responsible for some sort of public participation.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. All right. Then now you come to the county governments. So we have 47 counties.
Yeah.
Each has a county, your governor who you vote for.
Yeah.
Now at county level, there's a mini government
Yeah.
of the governor and the county assembly.
Yeah.
The county assembly consists of the MCAs. Now there are 47 governors, and the MCA represents a ward within a county, and there are 1,476 MCAs.
So that means 1,400
76 MCAs.
Yes.
Yes.
And-
Because within a county, if you're a county, if you have like 10, 15, maybe it's like 15 wards, or you have 15 MCAs
Yeah.
that way.
What's the average pay for these?
A lot.
Can I say
What are we
my
talking in US dollars? I'm trying to what
Now, ironically, our members of parliament are one of the highest earning in the world.
yeah.
when you say highest earning, how much are we talking? Because
I get to pull up this number, actually.
because
I know it's more than a million Kenya shillings.
and in US dollars for those who
It'll be
are
like 10,000 or something.
10,000
Let me see.
a month.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
bad living.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is
And
just
this
a
is-
salary.
Yeah. It's
There's
exclusive of parks.
Packs like per diem when you travel, you have
Yes.
these packs.
They have
You
cars,
have housing, you have servants.
Refurbishing
you
my kitchen. My
have, you have
kitchen needs to be.
offices.
Yes. Because
You
they have an office in the city, because Parliament is in Nairobi, but they also have an office in their county, in
Do you
their
have to be Kenyan to be
constituency.
in parliament?
I believe so.
Okay.
You want your Kenyan passport? Yeah.
Okay. So then now county government have the authority to manage local affairs.
Yes. And I think for history's sake, county governments were introduced in the 2010 constitution.
The new constitution.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is a very new
Yes.
state of how we govern Kenya.
Yes. The whole idea was because we were very central government based.
Yeah.
So, and we had provinces, but then the budget was managed by central government. And so then if your tribe happened to be the tribe that's in power, your areas would get more development.
This is why Baringo
was very developed.
This is the developed town.
Yes. So then,
and our friend is from there.
she says Baringo.
She says she's from Baringo. Yes.
So the point of devolving was
Yeah.
that now money goes down and it's managed at a closer level with the people, right? And ideally, it means that you're not influenced, you're not fighting to have like your person in power because you get money at your county level.
Yeah.
Okay.
So devolved government.
Yes, devolved
2010.
government,
Yeah.
yes. Now, within this county government, which is quite the system, I need to figure out how to explain it best. County, the way a county government is run, so there's your governor, he has a county executive committee, which is basically like a cabinet within the county. So you'll have a CEC of health, CEC of education, CEC of infrastructure within your
And
county.
it's already it's a replication of what happens in
at
the
national level. Yes, only at county level. Then
Do they talk to each other? Like if I am
that's a good question. There's sometimes some things that there's not very clear, especially when I think about things like roads. And then roads, because it can be like, oh, okay, this road passes through your county, but that's managed by the budget is by Ministry of Roads.
Yeah.
But then there's roads that are meant to be built or refurbished now at county level that are managed by your county.
Yeah.
But then there's also the Kenyan National Highways Authority.
Yeah.
Then there's Kenyan Urban Roads Authority. Then there's Kenyan Rural Areas Authority. Sometimes some things people can just toss the button. Say, no, that's those people.
Yeah.
That's those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And decision making, it's gonna
It's
be
chaotic.
almost impossible.
Yeah. Now
to get
at
things
county
done.
level,
Yeah.
because he has the CC, etc., the county governor and CC are responsible for budget. However, the members of county assembly have to approve that budget or how that budget is used.
MCAs.
Yes.
Yes.
The MCAs come in here, which is where there's a lot of issues because MCAs will not pass things because they want to basically be bribed to let things go through. So sometimes you can find things just don't move at a county level, especially if the governor and the MCAs are not of similar parties.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a thing. And MCA's responsibility are for passing laws at county level.
Is it just me, or do I have a feeling that MCAs have to be young? Was that one of the things that was stipulated for?
I don't know. But something that's interesting is, who else have we mentioned before who are responsible for laws at county level? Senate.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the difference is here.
Yeah.
What are the laws that Senate is involved in at county level, and what are the laws that the MCs are involved at county level? I don't know.
I have to go and ask. What my nephew is an MCA in our county.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will be good to get information.
I'll get some info from him.
Now, do you think that there are roles that no? So remember we said we had a previous central government.
Yeah.
Which was, instead of counties, we had provinces. Under provinces, we had districts, then divisions, then locations. Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
oh my
you
gosh,
would
it was
assume
so simple.
we've moved to a new system that has counties, sub-counties, and wards, right? Hence, the government should reflect county, sub-county, wards, and House, National Assembly, and the Senate. Well, we didn't do away with other things.
They remained the same.
So roles that are still there, we still have chiefs.
We still have sub-chiefs.
And assistant chiefs, yes. We still have both.
The assistant, yeah.
And they are part of national administration structure.
Yeah.
And they act as representatives of the national government at grassroots level.
Yeah.
They are appointed by the Ministry of Interior and Coordination. Okay. As of the latest data, we have 2,500 locations and more than 6,600 sub-locations, which means over 2,500 chiefs and 6,600 assistant chiefs.
Wow.
Who are on payroll.
I feel like all our money, our Kenyan money just goes to...
There's more. There used to be district officers, DOs. They were rebranded. They're now county commissioners and sub-county administrators. County commissioners are senior national government officials within each county.
Yeah.
Who coordinate national government functions and link the county with the central government.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot. Something tells me you're not finished yet. So.
No. And they oversee security, administrative matters, and implement national policies at government level, at county level. Okay. We have sub-county administrators. These ones operate under the county government structure, handling administrative duties with sub-counties. They're responsible for implementing county government policies, coordinating development activities, and ensuring service delivery at the sub-county level. And there are 290 sub-county administrators. Now, I just think that's...
I said that again. How many?
290.
290.
Yeah.
And these are the ones who were... there was divisions, yeah? Because you had districts, so divisions, they changed to
now
that.
To...
Yeah.
Districts are now... Wait, are they wards? Or divisions are wards?
I think...
Districts are sub-counties.
Yes.
Yes.
There has to be an infograph. Because in my mind, like you're explaining it, but no matter how much I try to read this up, like it's always so confusing. Imagine for somebody who's just trying to understand you're in the grassroots.
We go to the ballot box to vote for 6 roles. But then there's a bunch of other roles that are just there who... Either we reduce the roles we're voting for, or we decide this is my unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
This system doesn't work for us.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I think, first of all, either we don't have a president.
We do it the Swiss style.
Yes, or the way our people who colonized us left us with this shit system. the English have a prime minister who is voted for. You vote for whatever parties,
And then
majority party will have a MP who's like, yeah, that guy is going to be our prime minister.
yeah.
Let's do away with president or keep it, and it's ceremonial island style.
Mm.
He's there. You can go talk to people, do whatever you
Or
want.
do the
It's fine.
rotation.
Yes,
within the-
Ireland has a president. He's fully ceremonial.
Mm.
He hangs out with his cute dogs. He's smart. Gives
Very
nice
funny guy.
talks.
I've met him before.
Really funny guy.
Yeah.
We
Great.
can
That's
have,
photo apps, yeah.
because I think most African countries that have presidential system, this thing trips us up.
Is there a country without presidential system? I don't think there is. In Africa, I don't
I
think
think
so.
South Africa don't directly vote for president. Do
They
they?
do. They do.
They vote for a party.
Yes, I think they vote for a party.
Yeah.
I can't confirm or deny that.
I don't think South Africans vote for the president directly. I think they vote for a party.
Mm-hmm.
Then the party will have, like NC will be like Ramaphosa is our guy. Zuma's party will say Zuma is our guy.
Yeah.
EFF will say Malema is our guy, etc. So I think-
Inherently, the person at the top of the ticket has to be like, so that's you
Yeah.
are voting for the
so you're voting
party.
for the party, yeah.
But you could be
But then-
voting for the person, because the person that has to be fronted before the elections,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But yeah, I guess most of us vote for, I don't know about Northern Africa.
Yeah.
Honestly. But in Sub-Saharan Africa, I think we just mostly have this, because I think this system,
And,
it's not for us.
we wanted to draw a little bit of comparison with how Swiss system looks like. Yeah. And it's amazing that Switzerland, the way they've run the country, the federal country, for the last, is it 200 years or something? So maybe just a brief overview of how Swiss do their things. They have a federal system, yeah? And at the top is the confederation, yeah? And then you have the cantons, and then you have the communes. And for this, you have, I think, 7 federal councillors, and with 26 cantonal governments. And then you have 2,172 communal councils. Yeah. And around you have like, Switzerland is a small country, 5.5 million voters that shape this. Now, the big thing about Switzerland and how to draw a comparison is, even though it's a small country, they try to be neutral as possible. And everybody votes for every little issue.
Yeah.
So every moment I'm walking around, there's an issue that's being voted for.
Yes.
Whether kids should start primary school at whatever age, that's an issue that everybody votes for. Whether, and there are some political parties as well. So
Yeah.
the political parties will
And these
try
are
to say,
separate from
yes,
regular elections.
yes,
So they've separated, voting for issues is throughout the year.
it's throughout
Yeah,
the year.
yeah.
And then within these 7 federal councillors, you have the president is rotating every year. So there's never one time you have like 5 years, there's a presidency, and then we go over. No. They vote amongst themselves who's going to be the next president. So
Yeah.
it keeps rotating. Every year there's a new president. Every year there's a new president. So it's simple. It seems very simple, actually. And I wish we adopted something as simple as that,
Yeah.
where you have actually devolved decision making for people's issues. Like right now, we were fighting for the financial bill.
Yeah.
Imagine if we had been tasked to vote for all that. People would have rallied up and actually come up with, okay, this doesn't make sense, this makes sense. But now when you give MPs a lot of power, like we've done in Kenya, then of course they can be influenced. I heard they were given millions,
Yeah,
I don't
to
know, 2
vote.
million to vote or something. And they accepted, they were given the money. So there's a simple solution. We were saying we wish the system would change.
Yeah.
I wish it would change to something very simple, very devolved to decision making.
Yes.
It does take a lot of money to run these elections. And also we are a big country. We are like
Yeah.
40 million people
Yeah.
compared to
Almost
5 million in Switzerland.
60
million now?
now.
60 million?
Are we?
We are,
No, it was like
we're
40,
54 million.
54 million. Yeah. So it would take a lot of work to get to there. But yeah, drawing comparison, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
do away with the presidency or make it ceremonial.
Yeah.
If it's have a system where you can have, yes, it's members of parliament, whatever it is, but a system that encourages multiple parties.
Yeah.
Because then having different oppositions really keeps the checks and balances in place.
Yeah.
This thing where we have two parties, one is main, one is opposition is paid, now opposition is the party, and then it's like we have no opposition. Basically now it's like the people are the opposition in this moment in time. I think let's just first of all, we need to streamline this government. It's too fat.
Oh yes, it is.
It's way too many people as we speak. Well, the protests have paid off, sort of.
Yeah.
The cabinet was fired last week.
Oh yes, it was. All of it.
Yes. The commissioner of police resigned.
Yeah.
The attorney general was fired too. But
Well, these system without these people, like what's going to take AI? Are they going to who's
no,
going
but
to
you
take up
see,
these
cabinet
positions?
ministers are just faces. There's a ministry
So there's
which has employees who are hired by public service.
So okay.
So they keep running.
All right, right. So it's not like this person is going
independent
to
of the
leave
party.
and then they'll leave with their bag of tricks as well.
No, their bag of tricks is stealing. So at least that bag is out. So we'll just get a new.
Yeah.
pet
And also
thief.
they did a revision of the estimates for the budget of 24-25.
Yes. He
So-
was asked to cut down.
Yes.
He doesn't need to renovate his house.
Yes.
The DP doesn't need a renovated house.
Yeah.
Their wives don't need offices paid by public money.
If I was in politics, I'd feel hard done. My predecessor got all these things. Why am I the unlucky one?
But he was in government. He already stole in the last government. You've already been stealing for
but-
10 years. Please, can we just be satisfied with what we have stolen? Aye. How much more stealing can we do?
Can I say, and this is my unpopular opinion, maybe it's popular opinion, I believe all this is a child of colonialism.
True.
Yes, the stealing in government and everything is a child of colonialism. Because colonialism came with this idea of grab whatever is good, grab for ourselves, then get out.
Yeah.
So
Then, we were left back with the country, but we're operating like
we are operating.
we are
like-
also temporary. So
Yes,
we're also grabbing.
Everybody is grabbing for themselves,
Yeah, it's
There's
terrible.
no. Maybe if we were to do comparison with Tanzania, because Tanzania they had the what do you call it?
Oh, the socialist
Jama,
system. Yeah.
They-
In the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if their form of because they were not colonized by the British. They were.
Oh, yeah.
They had
They were the
changes with the
Germans,
Germans.
and then the Germans had to deal with the British. The
Yes.
British took over.
Yeah,
They were being treated like peanuts.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Yeah, all that we are seeing, and especially the greediness, because I'll call it as it is. It's greediness. The greediness that exists. The fat, bloated government. Everybody wants everything for themselves and their family, and the nepotism and all that. It's all about.
I feel I've had the same discussion over a million times. Are we too far gone?
No, it's gonna start somewhere.
Is there in reality? Let's
In reality?
cash talk here. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
These people are not going to. These systems are so fixed that for someone to be rich, someone has to be poor. Unfortunately, if they cut out corruption entirely, a lot of people will suffer because that system is made up of a corrupt system, and it's unbreakable because there are people at every level. So there's
here's
people
the
right
thing.
at the bottom selling peanuts who've never paid one tax dollar in their life.
But here's the thing. I agree that the issue is the 1% that's eating is what's 1% of our 54 million?
500.
Yeah.
Let's assume it's 500,000. Oh, math is not math. I highly doubt there's 500,000 people who are eating that much.
Yeah. No.
This eating is being eaten by a few handful that are eating so damn much.
Yeah.
So if we even let's say it's 500,000 who are eating, let's even make it 1 million,
Yeah.
even 3 million, 5 million. In fact, let's say it's 5 million who are eating. If we cut those ones out, it's only 5 million who are suffering for the sake of 50.
Yeah, but back to it, the question is are we too far gone?
I don't think so.
No, I feel it's growth pangs, growth pains.
Yeah.
if I was to again draw against
Name a
Switzerland,
place that doesn't suffer from this.
where?
The kind of actually let me
Name a
let me
country,
let me let
an
me go.
African country that
let me
doesn't
let me
suffer
just
from the same
But
issue.
we are all of us are very young nations.
yeah, we are.
We are. Switzerland became a federal country, government in 1848. As we're talking about 1963.
1963.
They've had years to harness.
Yeah.
People who saw
Their
independence are
systems.
still alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
People who fought for
My
independence.
mom was born in colonialism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are growth punks, and I like the change that's happening because now people are waking up and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
So maybe
something
my
is-
question should be in our lifetime.
I don't think in our lifetime.
Okay.
No.
I have, well, I don't know if let me see in our lifetime. Let me say this. We have seen a new constitution in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Because we were, maybe in our lifetime. My mom was born in colonialism.
Mm-hmm.
She saw independence. She saw
Democracy.
through one dictator.
Yeah.
She saw a new constitution.
Yeah.
We tried to pass it 2 times. She saw voted in a new constitution. And now we're here. My mom is still here. So yes, if in her lifetime, she's seen this is leaps and bounds that she has seen. So in our lifetime, I think so. Not at the level. I think maybe what we are imagining also Switzerland is a utopia of sorts, right? Let's say the UK. Getting to a point like the UK in our lifetime, I think is possible. And I mean in terms of, are we going to be at zero corruption? No. But
The people eating.
yes, I think one thing that I know we're going to see in our lifetime is because we are now in the population of generations that are not tribal,
Yeah.
right?
That's a big thing.
They are not raised tribal. So to them, they just know we are suffering together. And what is common about our suffering, we are of a certain age group. That's why we are suffering, right? So I do think there's going to be a change in how voting happens. Much more understanding of the power of the vote, right? Much more accountability for your leader. Because right now, one of the things people are pushing for, we don't have an electoral commission. It was disbanded. So we can't recall members of parliament. We need to have an electoral commission in place so we can be able to start the process of impeaching some of these people in power. Right now, we can't do that. But once it's in, for sure, I'm going to see change. We're going to see changes in the next few years, even the next election. I truly think this might be the first president for us who's going to be a one-term president.
Do you know one thing I think we've had this discussion before. I will always respect Kenyans for one thing. Being at a level of understanding between the government, the leaders, and the people that no matter what you say about me while I'm in power, it's highly likely you'll survive. I can't say the same for Zimbabweans.
See, this is again something my mom has seen in her lifetime.
Something against government, or
But this is a
against
recent
leadership,
thing.
I'm
This
not
is a very
sure
recent thing.
if you'd survive.
But that's the point. My mom lived, not even my mom. We know people who disappeared.
I know people. I know a person.
Yeah, but you're at a
journalist who
point
disappeared.
whereby this is not an issue anymore.
Yes, because
Not
we've
so
changed.
much anyway.
Well, the thing is,
It's still happening.
It's still happening.
There's people who are still missing from the last protest.
Yeah, and people being taken from homes. Actually, the memes nowadays is every time you hear somebody
So
knock
that
on the door.
debunks my.
Yeah.
I was trying to big you up.
The
and
funny
say,
thing,
congratulations.
hilarious. There was they had to do a roundtable with the president. So he was being interviewed by 3 journalists. And those journalists are going hard. They're like, Mr. President, we don't trust you. How are you going to blah, 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 blah? Now, the back in the day, first of all, the country power would be switched off. Pop, blackout.
Come on.
And
now.
then the story will be, power went out. We escorted the journalists out.
Yeah.
They've not gotten home.
Yeah.
No. But the funny thing that happened is after the interview, during the interview, people started posting, like one of the journalists, for example, is let's say Linus Kekai. So people will be like, #free Linus Kekai. Because they're like, let's start in advance. Because we don't know if you live there, okay?
If you'll get home.
If you'll get home.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is something that also we've seen change in our lifetime.
Yeah. But you get
And
what
they-
I'm saying. That
yeah,
it's
that's
not,
Yes, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
they-
Yeah.
you know, don't take it for granted.
That's
that
true.
you
Yeah,
can-
The freedom of speech
the
we
fact
have.
that you are speaking now on a podcast
Agreed.
about leadership, that's
Agreed.
it. All it takes in Zimbabwe, all it takes is like finding out what your surname is, and
Yeah.
then things can go south for
Yeah.
anyone you know and anyone you.
Yeah.
You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
There's a lot of freedom of speech. for
Yes,
sure,
and
yeah.
definitely we have to shout the people who died for these freedoms we have now.
Yes, that's true.
Right. So
There's
massive like respect. We can't just say we woke up and it was like this. But then now let me just give an example of the rot that in the country exists, right? Because we think this eating is just in places. Now, alcohol sector is something that is a passion of mine. And so I come from the western part of Kenya. I grew up, my grandfather was a sugarcane farmer. We grew up in the sugarcane belt. But I still live there.
Yeah.
Now, there is no distillery in our area.
Where sugarcane is grown.
Yeah. You tell me about Kenyan rum that you know of.
No, I don't know any.
Okay. So I was very curious about this and I thought, this is something we should get into, right? All right. 2 years in, we were like, let's abandon ship because we could not get, we couldn't figure out where to get the relevant permits
Yeah.
to have a distillery. So, I mean, we're still looking, but we're like, well, this seems like a thing that I'm not sure is going to happen. But there's these people who I know called, I think they're called Koruram. So I was like, I researched. I'm like, there's these guys who say they have a distillery. So we reached out to them and they said, yeah, let's chat. They're currently doing they were making their samples because you have to make samples that are approved by the Bureau of Standards. So cool. Recently, an article came out, which I was just like, oh, this is what they've been going through. Because I kept thinking, how did these guys get a permit? So first of all, Koruram is done by a Japanese investor. So they set up the distillery. It can produce up to 15,000 liters annually of rum. The cost of setting up the distillery and everything was about $55,000. So they can do a turnover of about 75 million annually, which is around $580,000.
Yeah.
All right. So the setup cost is about $60,000.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Now, they were given quotations for being able to go into production. Now, who's giving the quotation? Kenya Revenue Authority.
What does KRA have to do with
I don't
quotation
know.
for production for alcohol?
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know.
Hey, listen, I need my cut too.
So,
No, I need to know where the money is so that I know
What you
how
think
much
this
tax
is?
I need to
Doesn't
get.
matter.
so it's one thing if the KRA is giving them
Somebody's promo packet.
something for like excise duty tax,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So they were given a quotation to get a license for excise duty is $194,000.
What?
$194,000.
This is more than the cost for them to put up.
Yes, this is almost 4 times the cost.
Yeah.
Yes. $194,000.
No,
Then
you
there
get
were tolls.
you get support from the government once you do set it up. No?
What support?
Yeah, okay.
Them coming
I was just trying to justify the 100 and
Then they need to implement flow meters and automatic bottling machine. Which, why is the Revenue Authority involved in telling me
How to do your
I
business?
should put a bottle, if I want to bottle with my hands?
Yeah.
But that is 100. The quotation they got was $116,000. Now they're being given quotations that they have to use KRA's approved suppliers.
Wow.
So they have to use the suppliers. Okay, somehow the Revenue Authority has suppliers of people who do bottling.
who
And
will also
meters.
inflate the prices.
This is this is the inflated price.
Oh, right.
$116,000. Then
So they can't go to. Are you telling me that if I want to set up a business like this, I can't go to China, find a bottling unit? Because that's how people do it. Like
No.
for water bottling and
no,
everything.
they've said the bottling, the flow meters is it's through their approved suppliers. The quotation is
Come on.
$116,000. Now, creme de la creme. They have been told they need to put in CCTV cameras. Now, the flow meters, so that KRA can remotely measure how much you're producing and is moving.
I don't want to keep pulling up there all the time.
Then they need to install CCTV cameras through the KRA approved supplier. Guess how much that is?
How much?
$3.9 million.
Zimbabwe dollars.
US dollars.
These cameras we have.
And they did the favor of even adding, apart from the $3.9 million, there was a cost for people for transport and installation.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So I think I'm at loss here. How does KRA dictate how you do business?
Because their involvement should be what? Taxes. So are you paying VAT? How much have you produced?
Kenya Bureau of Standards are the ones who should be
given certain permits are from the Kenya Bureau of Standards.
Yes.
Other permits might come from NEMA, the environmental.
Yes.
Because to make sure, like, how are you taking care of your waste, things like that.
Yeah, and noise and everything.
Yes. I don't know why KRA is giving quotation for CCTV cameras, for flow meters, for bottling facilities. I understand. Excise duty, fine. Let's say excise duty is there.
Yes.
That is tax. Okay.
I thought their work was to audit, like, what's your turnover and
also, I don't understand why you need an excise duty license. This is beforehand.
Wow.
The license for excise duty is $195,000. Now, once you start producing, there's other taxes now you pay based on your production, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So this is just to give you the license. Now, in Switzerland, guess how much this similar license is? It's not even similar. There's the environmental one, commercial registry, a bunch of others. Guess how much you require? 3 million shillings, which is 30,000.
What? $30,000 compared to almost the whole calculation was like $300 US.
CCTV alone was $3.9 million.
Yeah.
30,000.
And
this $30,000 includes if you are buying a building to set up your distillery.
Yeah.
And so it needs certain planning permits, etc. That is included in that 30,000. Or even if you're not buying, even if you're leasing a building, but you need to change the interiors to accommodate having a distillery, that's the costliest. It can be as low as $1,500 or as high as $10,000.
Yeah.
That was the highest cost. Yeah.
So is it, are they trying to make it very hard for people to do business in Kenya because they have vested interest in other people?
Because
we already know who's a big baller.
Yes, they have them in their pockets.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they make it impossible for anyone else.
Like Keroche, Keroche was a big independent beer producer.
Yeah.
Were basically crushed by government. You're crushing your own local business, but you won't tell us, we are increasing excise duty for foreigners, but so that we can boost local production.
And you cannot even let the local people even do.
But you kill the local production because some big wigs in the alcohol industry have you in their pockets.
Wow.
This is just one sector.
Also, in the way they are charging, it seems like, forget bribing. You know what I mean? I've already got a situation with my boss. They will supply me with what I need. I'm just going to charge you what I would.
Whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
Sugar sector. I clearly come from the sugar belt. Farmers, sugarcane farmers, some of the poorest, because they plant the sugarcane, harvested by factories.
Yeah.
Factories, what is their biggest product? Sugar.
Sugar, yeah.
But sugar produced in Kenya is more expensive than imported sugar.
Wow.
But guess who had a case against them because they were importing sugar? The president's brother, our last president. His brother was importing cheap sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenya has its own.
These people are the sons of the founding father.
Yeah.
They own, the largest property owners in Kenya is this family. How much more do you, tell me, how much more do you want to, do we just forget, negotiate with Tanzania and tell Tanzania, give us this part. We will just move. We start a new Kenya. You guys take and eat everything. What is the point at this point? What is the point?
This is the
because it's not like
part.
it's no one's stealing. It's like even the richest are just pilferaging. What is the point?
Like they're trying to make sure nobody else lifts their head up.
Nobody. There was the minister, one of the ministers who was just fired. But it's because he was fired as part of everyone being fired. Who imported fake fertilizer,
Wow.
bad fertilizer,
Hey, boy.
to a country that the biggest thing that people make money, agriculture.
Yeah.
But you go and bring fertilizer that's going to kill people's plants. Not fired. He's only been fired now as a bunch of everyone else being fired. But how?
But not the misdeeds.
No, but not, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to be desired.
I don't know.
In our lifetime, we'll see a change. Well, you believe you see a
No, I
change.
don't believe in this lifetime. Well, maybe because
I think so.
the years I'm
something
counting for
something
myself.
radical is going to happen. Something is going to have to give, and it's fine. Even if now until if current president finds a way to finagle out of what is, I'm thankful for, is people are learning their rights.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
yeah.
civic education that's happening.
Yeah.
And going into the next election, people are going into it different. So if the people currently want to eat, you eat. Because this is the last time you're eating.
Yeah.
This
But
is it.
we don't know the next bunch of leaders that come in with the next.
Let me vote for somebody who's just turned 21. What is the age that you can minimum age for going into even governor?
I don't know.
22.
Yeah,
Whoever.
yeah.
Let me vote for Gen Z. It's okay. If you're going to steal, at least you steal there. It's fine.
Yeah.
But let's just bring people who are different.
We definitely
Because people
need
who are
new
eating
people.
now were people who are there since Moi era. The same people who were with Moi are still currently. The current prime cabinet secretary, what's his name? A role that is first of all illegal. Is that in our constitution?
Yeah.
But he has a role. Wasn't he in government with His Excellency? The same faces are the same ones eating.
Yeah.
This Ruto here was part of Moi's youth program. Here they are still eating. How many years will you eat?
We need new energy.
Yeah. But before we end, I definitely do we'll put links in the description
Yeah.
for ways to support folks in Kenya. So even as we speak, this is going out probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. But this week on Tuesday, there's going to be more protests. Ways to support some of us, what we've been doing is sending money for people who've been injured in the protests to cover their hospital bills. Unfortunately, some people have lost their lives. So some of that money is going to the families to help with just bury your loved one, but also, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
And also-
your loved one is gone. I don't know if it sucks.
Yeah.
But just to go in and help that. So we'll put a link for that. So please give. Anyone who's going out to protest, be safe.
Yeah.
Let's continue to hold governments accountable. And I think we're also going to link handles, I think, for...
Yeah, we can put first of all, we don't want to forget the names of the people who passed on within this fight.
Yeah.
So we will put links to their names. We have some flyers. And we also wanna maybe mention the doctors who've spent a lot of time at the forefront taking care of people injured.
Yeah.
There are links to their self-organized Mchanga. Mchanga is our
GoFundMe.
Our GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are the links.
Yeah.
Check the description box if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll also put it on Spotify description.
Yeah.
And also, if you've not followed our Instagram or TikTok, go over there
And follow.
Follow.
Yes. And all the
have some
influencers who are doing the work of civic education, etc. We'll try and find a few and highlight a few of them on our Instagram. They usually also have like a M-Pesa link or a way to also support them because it's back-breaking work, and I don't think they're not getting as much support as your other quote-unquote influencers. So keep up the good work, but also for folks in diaspora or just anyone who's watching.
And that's it. See you on our next episode.
Yes.
Season 2.
Hopefully the rest of government will be fired.
Yes.
Yeah. had you were
I
sitting
could
on it.
feel it.
You're like, sit on it.